Hey everyone, it's Charles, Liquor CEO. Interesting topic today we're going to talk about. Maybe some of you find it a boring topic, but it's something that's very, very relevant and new for 2023. It's going to have some significant changes that could and will impact smaller suppliers, smaller distilleries, and such. So, jumping into it, I'm talking about the CBMA, or the Craft Beverage Modernization and Tax Reform Act. This was an act that was created back in 2017 under the Tax Reform. Let me look it up here. It was done by the Tax Cut and Jobs Act back in 2017. It was extended in 2019. It was made permanent in 2020. And there have been changes along the way, but the big change that the industry is really talking about now is what's happening in 2023. So basically, what exactly is the Craft Beverage Modernization Act, the CBMA? It was an act that, with respect to taxes, it lowered the amount of taxes on liquor, beer, and wine. I'm going to focus predominantly on spirits because that's where I spend most of my days in my life. But I do import beer, so I know those rates as well. So the general concept that the tax is applied is based upon a proof gallon in spirits, which is a gallon of liquid at 50% alcohol by volume. If you really want to get technical about it, it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 15.5 degrees Celsius. So 1 liquid gallon of 50% spirits or 100 proof liquor is taxed at a certain rate. The non-taxed rate is $13.50 per proof gallon. So if you're not able to enjoy CBMA tax reduction or tax discounting, you have to pay $13.50 per proof gallon. What the CBMA Act did was on spirits, it said that on the first 100,000 proof gallons that are imported or produced, and there will be some differences for producers in 2023, but you were entitled to a $2.70 per proof gallon tax rate, up to 100,000 proof gallons for your year. After that, it went up to $13.34 per proof gallon, and obviously it was $13.50 for the rate after that. So just to be clear, from 100,000 gallons up to 22.23 million of proof gallons, you were able to take $13.34 a gallon. Anything beyond 22 million and change, you had to pay the $13.50 a proof gallon. In beer, they measure it by barrels. So beer producers, breweries that make up to, I think it was 2 million barrels a year, you were actually able to enjoy on the first 60,000 barrels, you were able to enjoy a $3.50 per barrel rate. From 60,000 barrels up to 2 million barrels, you were able to take it to $16 a barrel. And then if you were a producer that made more than 2 million barrels in a year, you had a $16 per barrel rate. And if you were a non-producer or an importer, you had to pay $18 a barrel. And obviously, if you were a brewery that extended, that had volume beyond the 22,230,000 barrels, you had to pay the $18 a barrel rate there. So bottom line is, if you made certain thresholds, you were able to enjoy a lower tax rate. And the cool thing back then was you could take it in real time. So as you produced, as you imported, you could basically for importing, for example, it's a little easier calculus. For importing, what you would do is you would say, okay, well, on my 7501 entry form, you would tell your broker and you're enjoying the rate. You have your paperwork in order, but you would enjoy the lower rate. They would apply the $2.70 per proof gallon through the calculation and just charge you the real-time rate, and that's what you would pay. Gone. Starting in 2023, you have to pay the full rate in, and then take your credits in the future. Now, I'm not going to really focus on a lot of what I'm going to tell you, but they've created portals and things like that where now you have to go online and register. If you're an importer, your foreign suppliers have to register. Everybody has to be allocated what the limits are, who gets it, so that it all ticks and ties and reconciles. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is you can't take the tax discounts in real time anymore. You have to take them, you have to pay them all up front and then file your refund. And while, yes, at the end of the day, you are still getting the lower rate, that really does put a little dampening on the cash flow of smaller suppliers and smaller producers. And I think that really kind of dilutes or waters down, no pun intended, the benefit of what CBMA was created for. It was really created to help these craft beverages, these smaller breweries and distilleries. And yes, there is a discounted rate for wine. I'm just not tipsy-topsy on wine. I could look it up, but just know that it's there. I'm a spirits and beer kind of guy, so that's where it is. But you could really see the value of the program is kind of lost when, yes, it's only $2.70 per proof gallon versus 13 and change, which is a significant amount when you're bringing in 20,000-30,000 bottles at a time. That's a hefty amount of money. And so you have to front that now. And that's obviously going to impact your working capital that you have to allocate toward taxes just to wait to get it back. So, which is kind of, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm still happy that we can get it at the end of the day, but I'm really, because I believe in the usefulness of working capital. And I like to make the capital, obviously work. It's called working capital. Work for you, so it creates value in return. Giving the government an interest-free loan is not really, I'm not in business of doing that. But that is what it is. And so, but I just want to let you know that that's actually, when you hear things around CBMA, as a new brand owner, these are things that are very relevant to you. Everything you make in the regulated spirits, alcohol, beer, wine space is going to be subject to tax. And 2023, we have to pay that tax in full up front and then claim the credits and the refunds back. Very different than all the other types of taxes where you have the ability to kind of calculate where your tax will be at the end of the year and gauge your withholding or your payments to equal that. We can't do that in this space. And so beyond the other regulatory registration, portals and things like that, that's a big thing that's going to happen. So as you start to work through your working capital budgets and use of funds and things like that you're going to need, I think it's very important that while you may be thinking that we can get that lower tax rate, you have to front it. So you're going to have the cash to front it and wait to get it back. I have no idea how long it's going to take to get it back. I know how long they say it's going to take to get it back, but believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. So, and it's the government, so I'm quite confident the efficacy of the protocol is not going to be, no, they ain't the quickest in the world. So anyway, that's what I have for you today on the CBMA. Really appreciate it if you guys like these videos that I put out. To subscribe to the channel, notify, so you get notified alerts of all the videos I put up, and also like the video, share it with your friends or other people that you're talking to about going into the space with. I really enjoy doing this. You can find me at liquorceo.com, 40-80spirits.com. Or even just reach out, Charles at 4080spirits.com, 40-80spirits.com. Find me there, Instagram, TikTok, it's all in the box below. So happy to answer any questions anytime. Good luck with that, and let's make that capital work for you in 2023.